In this podcast, I'm going to tell you a true story about two people. It's a story that plays out in so many lives when these two personalities collide, and the results are disturbing. Let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk because there is a lesson to be learned for every one of us, and you'll see exactly what I mean.
A Pocket Sized Pep Talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
There once was a woman who grew up on a farm in South Dakota. Her family raised pigs. She worked hard, and the farm was successful, but she longed for something better in her life. So, she left the farm and went to school, graduated, and moved to the big city. There, she found a job, worked hard, became a manager. She wasn't the smartest or the most popular or the easiest person to get along with, but she carved out a place for herself and was a competent employee. At the same time, there once was a woman who grew up in the big city. She was very bright. She worked hard too and was very competent wherever she worked. She wasn't always the most popular, but her focus was on getting the job right, and that she did. One day, the intellectual was hired to work for the pig farmer. They came from different worlds and saw things in different ways. The pig farmer was fiercely proud of her accomplishments and her position within the company and saw the intellectual as a threat. Soon they became involved in a project, a marketing study. The pig farmer felt it would be a waste of time and less than 200 people would take the survey. They began to fight over how to complete the project, each claiming their own way was the better way. The pig farmer stood her ground, as did the intellectual. The intellectual was sure the marketing study would be successful, and after pleading her case to the CEO who hired her, put out that survey. Turned out, the intellectual was right when a staggering 3,200 people took the survey. In fact, the survey provided an enormous amount of valuable data. Now, later that day, the CEO who hired her called her on the phone and said, "This is your last day here. You've obviously proven incapable of working with your colleague to get your work done. It isn't working, and it isn't going to work. So I need you to pack up, and someone will escort you out." Was the intellectual right? Yes. Was the treatment of the intellectual unfair? Sure. Now what? This is not an uncommon scenario. In fact, it's far too common, particularly with those who I will loosely categorize as intellectuals. This is a society I clearly do not belong to, but I've certainly seen my share in my days. Sadly, although the names change, the basic script remains the same, including the part about the intellectuals far too often getting a phone call and being escorted out of the building. In school, being right seems to trump all other reasons. In business and in life, almost the opposite is true. The companies I worked for prioritized being a team player, getting along with others, and getting along with your manager far above being the smartest person on the team. Quite simply, here's what I believe to be true. It's not always about being right. It's about being a team player. It's okay to be the smartest person in the room, but at the right time and in the right way. It's not okay making others around you feel less intelligent than you. Ever. There's a time and a place and a way to be right. It's a blind spot, not just for intellectuals, but for anyone who places being right above being sensitive to your surroundings. Allowing others to be right, even when you believe there's a better way, is not a weakness of character. It displays a strength of character. It's not about being right. It's about when to be right.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.